Yes, welcome to the Record Breakers Roadmap. This will go for approximately 2 hours. We will have a break in the middle as well. So I will let you know when we're getting close to the break. This is going to be a bit rapid fire. Hopefully, you've got a notebook handy. You will get worksheets as well as we go that you can type straight into and make a copy of. If you prefer to handwrite and then fill in your spreadsheets later, that's totally cool. We may not get to fill in the entire thing, but obviously, as we go, I'm going to be explaining how this works, how you can fill it in, and what we do as we go. The reason that I'm going to do this rapid fire is because what happens if you have more time is most of us will overthink the answer. And usually what will come first is actually the correct answer. So I want you to have a bit of a think about those sorts of things as we go. If you're finding that you're like feeling stuck on something, just go with the first thing that popped into your mind. It's usually the right thing. So I'm just going to talk you through now what this workshop is exactly all about. And then we're going to get started. Okay, my screen is skipping for some reason. Bear with me. Hopefully, at the end of this workshop, you are going to end up with clarity. You are going to feel like you have some stability and direction going forward for next year, that you will also be able to forecast out your income for the year and know what you are actually looking at. One of the things that happens is we go, oh, I want this goal, but then we haven't actually gone through the months and mapped out what that actually looks like with the particular offers that we've got, the prices that we've got. And then it gets to the end of the year and we get disappointed that we didn't make it. So this is a way that you can actually forecast out exactly what you are going to earn. And then you can modify that now before that actually happens so that you are on the front foot of it and you are not panicking later on. Obviously, at the end of this, hopefully you have a plan that makes you feel more in alignment with your goals and also not chaotic and reactive, no longer winging it, as we were just saying, and that you're going into the year really intentional about the use of your time and also about what you're actually doing so that you have direction every single week. Who is just like every day, they know they need to work on their business, but maybe just floundering and not really sure what to do every single day? Yeah, a few nods. Yep. A few hands up. Don't worry, I have those days too where it might go good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, gets to Wednesday, I go, what the fuck happened? Where's my plan? So this plan is literally your North Star. It's going to give you the direction so that every single month you know what is happening in your business. Like I said, there's going to be a lot in here and you may actually need a lot more time. I would highly recommend that after this, you're going to give yourself some space to go and let this land and really integrate this with your body, your mind, the whole thing. Because if it's just coming from the head and it doesn't land in the heart space, then it's not going to have as big an impact and resonate with you. But if you give this space, you will have the space for abundance to flow, creativity to flow, and it will land a whole lot better with you. And you'll, first of all, remember your path and where you're actually going. So give me a yes in the chat if that sounds like a good plan or a good strategy so far. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get used to this mouse eventually. So, who am I to teach you this? I just want to quickly recap the reason about, I guess, the whole theme of record breaking, because record breaking might sound really hard, it might sound really huge for people, but realistically, you're in your own race. And I think what happens a lot of time with entrepreneurs is that we really look outside of us and we start comparing ourselves to other people that are 5, 10 years ahead. And that is just not a realistic place of comparison. We also compare ourselves to people that have completely different businesses to us, all of the things. So I want to remind you that you are not in a race with anyone else. And in fact, this race is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Like we are in this for the longest time. Hopefully, for you guys, your business, you are in business for a long time and not just a short time. If you are intentionally in business for a short time and your aim is to build a business and then sell it really quickly, that is a different story. But I want you to know that you've got time. So I want to talk to you about like my past career. Some of you might know this, but I actually spent almost 21 years in the retail industry at a senior management level. My number one job was to lead sales teams. And in my time, I won several awards at every single company that I've ever worked for record-breaking sales. And it was less about the actual sales strategy, although I can sell, but it was more about how I actually led those teams and drove those stores to that success. And one of the biggest reasons why they were so successful is because we tracked our numbers. I was on the ground in stores watching what people were doing. I was giving them feedback in real time. And we were making plans constantly on what is our worst performing metric and how can we actually move that. So one of the stores that I worked with was actually a Home Republic store for those that, like Adairs. Adairs has a sub brand called Home Republic. In Melbourne, they have some boutique stores. I looked after all of those. I also looked after all of the Adairs kids stores nationally. And my Home Republic store, I had this store that was, when I got it, when we changed areas and when I took over this store, they were like $500,000 down for the season, and there was 12 weeks left of the year. And just by doing that exact thing that I said, focusing on numbers, doubling down on what the store team was doing, removing things that they were wasting time on that weren't making them money, and getting really focused on what was making them money, actually got them back in the black, which is technically the green, in less than 12 weeks. We actually not only hit our budgets, but we also made up that extra $500,000. And in fact, the store manager ended up going on an achievers trip for that result that was driven by me. Lucky for her. Then I looked after that region for the following 2 years, or that national role for Adairs Kids for the next 2 years. And all of my stores, my 17 stores, all 17 stores hit their budgets and doubled, if not more, their sales from the previous year for 24 months straight, which was unheard of in the company history. And in fact, any company I've ever worked for in retail has never hit that before. Although you guys don't all work bricks and mortar businesses, I want to be clear that it is the same theory, the same strategy that works for every single business. And that is knowing your numbers, understanding your customer, selling them the right things, and really just doubling down on what actually works and ditching the stuff that is absolutely just a waste of time. Second to that, middle of last year, I binned my complete business model. I got fully booked with one-on-one clients, and I couldn't actually help any more people. And that's when I started the Soulful CEO Collective. In 12 months, I went from $0 to over $107,000 in under 11 months. And after obviously the end of the 12 months was even more. And this year, I'm already at 60% of my last financial year's sales, and I'm only 5 months in. So I want you to know that it's not because of my business model, it's because of the way that I drive it and the things that I don't waste my time on versus what I actually spend my time on and invest in my business. Who is excited to have this happen in their business, to really just drive their sales, to boost their sales, to potentially double your revenue, double your profit? Maybe you want to be also in the same position, 70% at last year's sales. I would love to know in the chat. I'm just going to minimize this for a second while I look at the chat, because I would love to hear from you guys how you feel about this. Heck yes, absolutely. Yes, love it, love it. Of course. Amazing. Awesome. So we're here for it. And I think that I told myself for the longest time as well that I was getting into business. It wasn't about money, all of the things. And you've maybe told yourself that story as well, that it's not about the money. All of us in here have impact goals. All of us change lives no matter what we do. And so that story doesn't really need to be there around it's not about the money, because we know that we're going to change lives no matter what we do. But you can't change your own life if you don't make money. And your business will not survive if you do not make money. So the risk of not focusing on the right things and wasting time on stuff that just doesn't matter and not really going after sales, which is essentially just helping people. The only reason that it feels a bit icky is if it's got the wrong approach. But if your number one intention is to help change people's lives, then we're doing them a disservice if we're not marketing, we're not selling to them, we're not telling them about our offers, we don't tell them about how we can help them, all of those sorts of things. It's not helpful for them. We can't hit our impact goal, and your business literally won't survive. And I don't know about you, maybe give me a heck no in the chat if you want to go and get a job in 2026. Or if you're in a job, because I know a few of you have got full-time jobs as well. Who wants to stay in there for another whole fucking year? Like me, come hell or high water, I will never go back to what I was doing. And that is my number one driver. So this whole presentation today, I want you to think in the back of your mind, that is your motivation. When you are thinking about, a lot of people will say, oh, I'm not motivated. I don't think that it is that you're not motivated. It's maybe that you're not disciplined, or you're not focused, or you haven't got the path forward. You don't know the answers. You don't know the way. But your motivation, it's intrinsic. It comes from the inside, it can't come from the outside. I've had several conversations this week with clients about being attached to the idea of what they think the business should look like. And I have this saying where we shouldn't should all over ourselves. And you've probably done that too over time. But it doesn't need to look like anything that you think it has to look like, but it has to come from here. This is what it's all about being a soulful CEO, is that it comes from your heart and we're acting from the heart and not about the head. Sure, we need some strategy and sometimes we need to get out of the fields and we just need to look at the data. But we also need to make sure that we stay connected with our internal motivation and that we keep that spark alive for ourselves as well. So I want you to think about that today as we're going through this plan. But I just wanted to share with you that not only do I have a background of amazing record breaking, but it's current too. The last quarter, it's no secret to people that I've had in here, as well as the previous workshop and the Soulful CEO. I had some really tough months this year where I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. But I was in a build phase and I knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And I've just come out of my biggest quarter in business ever because I stayed focused and I stayed on my mission, which is to help more women in wellness and events businesses. So hopefully that is not intimidating for you, but motivating for you, because if I can do it, you can do it too. And I know people say that and you think, oh, yeah, but it's different. It's not. It's relevant to your business, and all of your businesses are capable of this. I know all of your businesses, and you're 100% capable of this. The number one thing that's most frustrating for a mentor or a business manager or someone like that is actually seeing people's potential and them not doing the thing. That breaks my heart because I'm like, oh, this person is just, they can't see their own beautiful genius and potential that is just sitting there waiting to be collected because people are too scared to take action or take risk. And so I encourage you today to think outside of the box on what are the goals for you and what this actually looks like. Okay, so let's dive in. So the risk is of not having a plan is that you'll end up overwhelmed, and overwhelm equals stress, and stress equals dysfunctional business. And I don't know about you, maybe hands up or in the chat, yes, if you've experienced extreme stress, but 7 years ago, I suffered a mental breakdown, and I can tell you it is not a good time. Would not recommend. It's taken years to get my nervous system back on track, and it is not a place that I want for me now. It's not a place that I want for any of you, and it is definitely not the good bone structure of a healthy business. So, no plan is a plan to fail, in my personal opinion. And although we're going to plan today, it is your responsibility and your accountability as the CEO and the driver of your business to make sure that you actually follow through with the actions on it. Like I said, this workshop is not about motivation. You should already have your own internal driver, and maybe you need to write down what that is. Maybe it's one word, maybe it's your family, maybe it's something that keeps you on task, and make it visual. Put it somewhere in your office, on your laptop, on your mirror, in your bathroom, whatever your internal motivator actually is. Whether that is something that you're going to buy with the money that you earn, whether that's quitting your job, whether that's not going back to your job, like whether it's a photo of past self and you'll never want to go back to being that person. You really need to make sure that you are clear on your internal driver and that you're connected to that at all times. So when we get disconnected from that is when we're winging it, when we're hustling, when we're doing all the things that actually aren't conducive to working towards our current goal. We stay stuck in a previous version of ourselves. So we're going to talk a whole lot about that today and identity shifting. So hopefully shortly we're going to have clarity, structure, and momentum. So we're going to cover today, we're going to go now through some reflection and some celebration. Then we're going to actually go through what I call a post-mortem, which can sound a little bit morbid, but I promise you it is actually a good reflection strategy. And then we're going to do a bit of a SWOT analysis. So we can't move forward if we don't reflect on what actually has happened in the past. But tell me in the chat, what happens if you look in the rearview mirror too long? Let me know in the chat. What happens if you look in the rearview mirror for too long? You might go backwards. It's disheartening. Exactly, Amanda. You will crash. If you are not focused forward on your North Star, heading straight forward, and you are so focused in the rearview mirror, you will crash. You will burn yourself out and it will not be a good time. So we want to glance backwards. We want to have a glance back and go, that's where I was. Cool. Here's where I'm going. And we want to stay moving forward, one step at a time, one milestone at a time. So that's really important. So that's why we're going to do a little bit of a reflection, postmortem, and SWOT analysis this morning. Promise you it's easier than it sounds. Then we're going to look at your identity and your mindset shifts that need to happen to get you out of where you are now and bring you into the future and embodying that person already as if it's already happened. Then we'll take a quick break and then we're going to get stuck into the forward planning, which is vision and goals. We'll make your 12-month roadmap, your financial forecast. You'll leave with an action plan of things that you need to implement immediately and your commitment to integrating. And then obviously I'll open it up for extra questions as well and next steps. Let's get stuck in. I'm going to go to my next screen and grab you the workshop link. Okay, so one moment. Why did that do that? I always plan these things to go like extra well and then they do weird things. Okay, I'm just dropping you the link for this worksheet in the chat. Please make a copy and open up the worksheet. I am going to share my live version, which is making me make a copy too, which is amazing. I think my mouse is the delay. All right, can everyone still see my screen? Yep, okay, amazing, cool. Give me a yes in the chat when you've got your worksheet open. Perfect, perfect. Do me a favor because I know that Solis will probably at some point want me to review something. Just make sure that you update the name of the file in the top left corner. Just put your name in front of it so that if for some reason you need to send it to me, that I don't get 18 copies of copy worksheet. Okay, it looks like everyone has got the worksheet. Awesome. We're going to jump straight in. One of the quotes that I came across this week, which was actually in the yoga studio, was this, and it's start walking and the path will be made. And I think that is what is happening. We get so scared to start that we don't know what the path is. But every time you take a step, you're leaving some form of trail and you're paving that way one step at a time. So I would love for you to maybe remember that one. If that resonates with you, feel free to write it down or screenshot that as well. You've obviously got that on your sheet. We're going to go straight into the wins and highlights. So this is my favorite part of reflection. So I want you to think about this whole year. You're getting an error message. You got it? Okay, cool. Amazing. So what you're going to do is you're just going to click in here. You can type straight into here. I want you to write a minimum of 5 wins that you've had this year. But if you can remember more, please just list as many as you possibly can. So you're going to write your top 5 wins, any significant milestones that you had, and moments that you're proud of. So you're just going to do those first 3 dot points there in your own worksheet. So just moving through that at your own pace, just reflecting back all the way to the start of this year. It's a lot to remember. If you're anything like me, it's like tricky to remember all of that. We've got time, so feel free to write in as much as you want. And once you've got your wins, any milestones and moments that you're proud of, I would love you just to copy and paste them into the chat for me. I'd love to see them. Remember, it's the first things that come to mind. Maybe you're rewinding, maybe you're starting at the current you and then working your way backwards in your mind about what happened this year. Maybe you started a new offer, maybe you relaunched something, maybe you sold out your first event or sold your first offer. Maybe you made your first landing page. It all counts, right? Because we think that we're sometimes not progressing if we maybe haven't made sales, but there is so much progress in the back end stuff that we forget that we've actually even done. Lisa, getting your transformologist certification, nailing your niche and marketing message, getting a couple of paid clients, getting clear on what you want to offer, and finalizing your freebie. Yes, Lisa, I love this for you. Laura, your women's circles were well attended consistently, transferring clients to next year. Amazing. Successfully navigating a reschedule of retreat. Yes, it's hard work. I have been there. Well done. Seeing the bank balance with 4 figures. Amazing. Crystal, 2 booked in clients, human design readings, ditched something that wasn't working for you, got clear on your offer, invested in business coach. Amazing, good decision. Daniela launched and sold out mother-son retreats, sold out all mother-daughter retreats, built new offerings while traveling, left your corporate job again, more financial stability, laid out plans, deposit for your next retreats. Unbelievable. This is so good. Studied as well, facilitated workshops. Awesome, awesome. Ashley, opened your studio. Congratulations. Getting great reviews, getting some repeat clients as well, creating a beautiful and calming space, and then finally doing your own thing. So good, so good, so good. Prodea started your one-on-one clients. You have two started free online community sessions. Amazing. That's so good. One sold out. I've been watching your journey as well. It's awesome. Your circles that you're running, they look beautiful. Katana hit a 6K month. Spinal Flow is gaining traction, learning social media skills and getting better at implementing, pushing yourself in networking, planning out your first retreats, training an assistant at Spinal Flow Immersive. Amazing. Brooke got help to clean up your mindset, build your offer, showing up in your business and expanding in health and business. Love that. And also, I think you've nailed your marketing message in Sell It Like It's Hot. You've done such a great job there. Obviously, got your brand shoot recently, all of the things. Guys, this is awesome. This is awesome. Can we see how everyone's journey is different, but there's wins for everyone here? Amanda started a new community and held many months of masterclasses, helped clients move forward, getting to the next level, being a breathwork facilitator, got your human design certification as well, spoke on stage at a 3-day boot camp, worked with amazing clients and that you always wanted to work with. Amazing. And you built my website, which I love. I think that's a win. It's a win for you and it's a win for me. I love it, love it, love it. Guys, this is so good. So good. Congratulations. I hope that you are all proud, not grateful, proud, because we often use the word grateful to cover up the word we really want to use, which is proud. And I would love for you guys to use that language a lot more as well of what you're actually proud of. So congratulations. I've got a little calculation here. You don't have to do this now, but in your own time, I would love you to go and collect some data because sometimes we also think we haven't grown in our sales, but then when we go and check it out, we've actually grown exponentially on last year. And so again, it's not about competing with the goal or competing with other people. It's about have you had progress on the previous year? One of my clients yesterday, Christy, who most of you know, she mentioned yesterday she feels like she just hasn't got anywhere and that she's in the same position she was last year. So I got her to go and collect some data for me yesterday, and you'll see this story on my social media. I popped it on there last night with her permission. But she actually went and checked the data last night, and she's actually 2.5 times her income from the previous year. And she didn't realize that she had done that. But not only that, before that, she actually had a 1,500% increase on the year before that. So she's actually increased on an increase, which is really difficult to do. But it just goes to show that actually, when you check the numbers, you're probably way further ahead than you even realize. So, worth doing this calculation just to calculate your percentage increase on last year. And that is the formula essentially is this year divided by last year's amount, and that'll give you a number times 100 will equal the percentage. So you can do that in your own time. If you get stuck on that at any stage, then let me know. But I would love for you guys to go and collect some data on this for me today and then send me a message and let me know what it is so I can celebrate you, because I think you'll be very surprised at how far ahead you are. If you already know your numbers, feel free to work that out. Let's move straight into the post-mortem analysis. Is that going on the financial year? You can do either. So you can do calendar year, you can do financial year. It's totally up to you. I like to do both, to be honest, because at different times of the year, I'm at different stages. So, like at the moment, when I say I'm 67% up on last year's takings, I am actually referring to the financial year, but also it's worth doing on both because sometimes the financial year comparison might not be correct, but actually as a calendar year, you might be way ahead. So it's just worth checking both just to see depending on what your busiest months are as well. Like you might not be in a peak phase right now, in which case it might be helpful to review the whole calendar year. But I check both. For the purpose of this exercise, checking the calendar year could be super helpful, I think. Cool. So we're going to do the post-mortem analysis now. Just before we move on to post-mortem analysis right now, who enjoyed actually like going through and realizing their wins and actually just noticing what their wins were? Did you realize that you had as many wins as you do? Would love to know from you in the chat if that was a helpful exercise. Awesome. Good to feel proud. 100%. Had forgotten how far you'd come. Yep. Amazing, Amanda. Love it. Cool. So the post-mortem. There is a different strategy to this than a SWOT analysis. Sometimes people think this is the same, but it's slightly different. I'll explain why. So in your post-mortem analysis, I want you to put in here, just after this some dot points here around what worked well this year for you. So think about all the things that went right. And I just want you to list them out. Just brain dump them all out, as many as you can think of. What went right? Was it the launch of an offer? Was it clients that were having huge transformations with you? Was it a personal up level that went really well? Something that you learn about yourself? Even if it was personal, maybe something to do in your personal life went really well. Maybe it was your health, your fitness, your mental health, your family life, your partner, anything that's gone really well this year. It's all part of it. If you think that business and personal life is separate as a solopreneur, you are 100% wrong. What happens in our personal lives affects our business, even if we don't realize it, even if it's a subconscious thing, it's always there, it's always affecting us, which is why it's super important to focus on that as well, which we're going to dive into. But give me a list of what worked well. If you feel like sharing some, I would love to hear them. Just drop them in the chat for me. And then you're just going to move on to what didn't work. I want you to be really upfront with yourself and honest with yourself. Give me all of your failures. Drop all of your failures in there. Anything that didn't work well, whether it was your own mindset, whether it was planning, whether it was something that didn't take off the way you wanted it. And I'm using the term failure loosely, like almost in a comedy sense, because honestly, both hands up for me, the amount of things I've fucked up this year that no one knows about. Some of them people know about, but that happens too. And it's all a part of it. If you don't have failures in here, then you probably haven't taken enough risks. You should have a juicy list of failures. Would love you to drop what you think is your biggest failure in the chat for me. Because we should also celebrate our failures as much as we celebrate our successes, because these are the lessons. And they're only lessons if you learn from them, which we call wisdom. If we don't learn from them, we call it stupidity. So drop in the chat for me, what is something that you royally failed at this year? And let's get used to actually accepting that failure is a part of the journey. Brooke, I love that. If you don't have any failures, you haven't taken enough risk. 100%. If you can't write anything down right now, that is a good indication that you're not taking enough action or not taking enough risks. Because when we take action, it's inevitable. We will stuff something up. And it doesn't mean we failed. It just means that we're human and that we're new to stuff and that we're taking risks. And that is important in our growth in business. If you're not taking risks, you are going to stay exactly where you are for another year. And even if you've had a good year, it's like, why would I stay there when I know I can grow and do better? Laura, your November retreat, yep, marketing fail, unknown visa costs, sense of pushing rather than attracting. Love that reflection. That's amazing. Like how much wisdom is just in that one little nugget is so good. And we both know that you will do things and are doing things very differently to cause a different outcome now, which is amazing. I had one client who signed up for 7 sessions and only did one. Lots of learnings about cancellation policies, being clear on commitment. Love this so much. That's such a good reflection. I've had that too. I've had different things where we're like, okay, cool. That means we need to change our onboarding process, or we need to change our policies on things, or I need to change the way that I give people feedback or action plans. Like all of this is normal, guys. Actually been stuck with very expensive marketing company for longer than needed, not considering the contract details properly. Amazing. Crystal, what worked well was your client call through DMs. What didn't work well, that you haven't recorded KPIs, which you means you can't measure your business. 100%. Guys, if you are not tracking the bare minimum, even if you think you have no data, like zero sales is still data. What it's telling us is that you don't have sales. And so when we track all our different metrics, it means that we have the ability to actually move forward on what is not working. Daniela, last minute hustle, didn't follow up with people, working in partnership on a business structure, lazy and consistent communication with clients, 3 months traveling with your ex-husband was hard on your nervous system, wasted money on setting up systems poorly. Yep. Amazing. Okay, cool. Loving these reflections, guys. This is so good. Lisa, look at this list. Letting life bump you off your course, not having strong boundaries and allowing energy vampires to suck you dry. 100%. Like, I'm sure everyone in here can relate to that. Boundaries when we don't uphold them, not telling women that you are able to help them, not telling women how they can work with you. 100%. We are literally just, lack of a better word, cock blocking ourselves from receiving sales. and helping people, we're doing them a disservice when we don't show up. Guys, this is awesome. Katana still not paid off debt, sometimes not paid rent on time. Lots of mess getting. Okay, cool. Awesome. Guys, this is awesome. I want to celebrate you because the fact that you guys have some values in here is a good sign that you're taking action. Or if your failure is that you didn't take action, that you're hyper aware of it now for future, and hopefully we don't repeat the same thing. Cool. So now that we've looked at that, let's talk about what could be better. So just drop a couple of dot points here on what could be better and what are your opportunities for improvement. Give me one thing in the chat that could be better or could be improved. No doubt it'll be similar to what you've just mentioned, but it'd be nice for you to just be like, you know what, this is the one thing I'm gonna do this. Take income earning actions, have strong boundaries, act like a CEO, not a hobbyist. 100%. Plan, better prepared, research thoroughly all aspects, market consistently, communicate more effectively with your business partner, systems, having accountability with a mentor, amazing. Consistency, clear systems, clear CTAs. Love that. CTA is super important, guys. We're going to talk about that as well. Structure, following up warm leads, 100%. The amount of money that gets left on the table every single day because like people just in general get too scared to message the person again, who is probably just a busy human and forgot. Like how many people came to work with me and were like, oh my God, forgot to do the thing, forgot to check the email. I do it every day as well. My virtual assistant now sends me screenshots of my emails because I don't check my emails and says, by the way, this has been here for 4 days. Can you actually do this today? It's me too. So these reflections are great. Brooke, treating your business like a hobby or not treating it like a hobby. Amazing. Ashley, focusing on Christmas sales, high visibility over the summer months. Love this, guys. Awesome. Amazing. This is awesome. Okay, cool. We're going to move straight into the SWOT analysis, which is similar but different to the post-mortem. I want you to think about the SWOT analysis as in you as a CEO, not the business as a whole, but you as a CEO. We're going to do the SWOT analysis on you as the leader and the driver of your business. So I want you to just type in here in your worksheet. I want you to give me a whole heap of dot points. Tell me all of your strengths. And again, this is like rapid fire. First things like, what are you just good at? These are the things where you think, oh my God, this shouldn't be this easy, but it is. And I don't want to tell anyone that's this easy because I'm really good at it. These are all your strengths. These are usually the things that just aren't hard. We can do them at thelastminute.com because we're really good at them. And these give us usually indications, which we'll talk about soon, on the things that are really easy for us, what we should double down on. And it almost feels unfair that we're so good at something. So we avoid it because we think, oh, that's too easy. So what we do as entrepreneurs is we go and find a way to break our business or stuff it up. Because we're like, oh, this shouldn't be this easy. And I've had a few moments like that this year myself. I was like, oh my God, that was so easy. Why didn't I do that sooner? And how can I do that every single month in the next 12 months? So give me a couple of your strengths in the chat, and then you're just going to move straight through to your weaknesses. Tell me what is not a strength for you. What is the polar opposite of that? Laura, persistent, determined, works well under pressure, good communicator, open to change, and malleable. Love that. Makes for the perfect entrepreneur. If we are not tenacious and resilient, you literally should not be in business. Radea, speaking, being seen and being visible, speaking in front of people, holding space for others. Love that for you. That's awesome. Lisa, using your voice to share your story and your content. 100% agree. Coaching and transforming lives, having transformational conversations. Ashley, connecting with people, good communicator, relaxation massage, creativity with your marketing and creating beautiful spaces. Absolutely. Katana, great practitioner, holding space, transformations with color. Amazing. You can see the theme here, guys. Your genius zone is what you do. This leaves clues. Your wins that you put in before and your strengths that you've put in now, plus your failures and your weaknesses, are giving you clues on where you should be focusing your time. So we're going to unpack this a little bit more in a minute. Once you've popped your weaknesses in, give me a done in the chat. This is so good. Daniela, systems, processes, routine, consistency, and planning ahead. Amazing. Awesome. So once you've got your strength and your weaknesses, give me a done in the chat, and then we're going to move through to opportunities. Awesome. So, reflecting on your strengths and your weaknesses here, I want you to think about this perhaps in a way that you maybe haven't thought about before. Oftentimes we go, these are my weaknesses, and so I should probably just get better at these. And yes, probably you should. But also, sometimes, actually, if we double down on what our strengths are and outsource our weaknesses, then we also can achieve things so much quicker, faster, better instead of taking so long to learn something. Or maybe we also tell ourselves a story that it's hard to learn. Now, if you have learned anything, including the certifications that you guys have, because all of you have different qualifications in here, right? Even if it was just a lived experience thing that you learned over time, if you can learn one thing, you can learn anything, right? That means that you have the ability to learn, regardless of your learning style, regardless of, what you like learning. It means that you have the ability to learn. And so I want you to think about your weaknesses as not, it's hard to learn it. It's just that you don't know it yet. And I think I told myself a story for a long time that Facebook ads were really hard, that they were impossible to learn, that I wasn't good at it. I also told myself a story which was brought over from my mom, that I wasn't a numbers person. And so I just avoided numbers for the longest time. But actually, when I went and looked at it and worked it out, it wasn't actually that hard. In fact, it was easy. And I feel more stupid that I didn't get onto it sooner. So I want you to look at those weaknesses and maybe look at the things that you've been avoiding, that you've just been telling yourself are hard. But really, the story is, I probably just haven't made time for this. And then I want you to put them in the opportunities section. And then also, maybe some of those things that are in weaknesses are just things that actually someone else could do, that you could maybe hire into your business as a virtual assistant or something like that and just get someone else to do it. Cindy's just joined the call here as well, or her note taker has. Cindy is my new OBM, and I was struggling to teach my virtual assistant how to set up this new system because I didn't have time to learn it. Now, I love learning different stuff, and I really wanted to understand what this platform was about, how it all works, etc. But the problem is it was taking me away from focusing on clients. And so what I did was in my rebrand at the start of this year, I went all in on focusing on the rebrand. I turned off my Facebook ads and I focused all on my brand. And what do you think that did? It completely stopped my sales. Complete standstill for 11 weeks, 10 or 11 weeks, a complete standstill because I no longer was in my genius zone and I was wasting time on stuff that I should have just hired someone else to do. And I did it too late and it cost me royally, like really bad, embarrassingly bad. But that is my biggest failure this year was not asking for more help. And so I want to encourage you guys to remember that focusing your time on what is your strength, that is the easiest thing you can do. And for most of you in here, you've just put that communication and client delivery is what you're really good at. So if you're good at communication, we can get better at written communication, video communication, all of that type of thing for your marketing. It's the same thing. If you can communicate with your clients, you can communicate in marketing. And so if you just focused and pivoted your time and your attention on the things that were actually going to make you money and are actually easy for you because it's your genius. Most business owners, the first thing that they do as entrepreneurs is outsource their social media marketing. And for a few of you in this room, you've done that too recently and you've paid the price by having someone else do it and do a subpar job of it because it's not their genius, it's yours. You guys have all the knowledge. You guys are trained in it. Anyone else that comes to pick up your social media is not trained in it. They don't know what you do. They don't know the detail in which all the little idiosyncrasies that you probably don't even know that you do with your clients, like the way you fold the towel that goes on the bed in the massage room, or the little gift that you send someone, or the voice note that you leave people. Like no one else can replicate that. This is the stuff that is yours to own. But the more you do this sort of stuff, this is what gets repeat clients. This is what builds the rapport with them. This is what they love about working with you. This is what they'll tell all their friends about. You'll get referrals from, and that is what makes you money. But what we do is we get bogged down in, oh, I need to tweak my website, and sometimes, yes, you do need to update the website. But do you need to be having everything perfect? No, you need to get out there and keep communicating with the people that need help from you because you're the only person that can explain it this way. So I also used to do this. I also used to get someone to write captions for me, all of the stuff. I don't now. I write all of my own content. And a lot of people don't believe that because I put out a lot of content. I put out more than 200 pieces of content a month. It's all me. I get ChatGPT to help. My virtual assistant now makes the graphics, but I've trained her. I've got 400, 500 templates of graphics that she can just rotate through now. But actually focusing on the tasks that make you money is where you should be spending your time. Everything else is an opportunity to be improved on. And sure, I 100% believe that every single week you should have some time in your schedule to work on your own skill set. Every single week, I have one day of the week that is my learning day. Even if it's not the whole day, even if it's just an hour, I will watch a workshop. I will jump on YouTube while I'm eating my dinner instead of watching Netflix. Like those sorts of things, they're the opportunities where you can pick up extra knowledge as well. But my days are spent on marketing, client delivery, and getting more clients and giving my team direction. That is it. That is all I'm spending my time on now. Everything else is a not me problem. So hopefully you have got some notes down in your opportunities now. We're going to move to threats. Tell me, what is your biggest threat? Would love to know what you think your biggest threat is, because there's a few different ways people look at this. So a threat is something that could impact your sales, impact your clients, or impact you. As essentially overall, it what could be putting your business at risk. Brooke has absolutely nailed it. Lisa, doing everything on my own. Crystal, time with being a mum. Yep. Feeling overwhelmed and staying stuck in it. 100%. That's a huge threat. Love it. If anyone can think of anything else, hands up who thinks they're the problem. Yeah. We all need that t-shirt. I'm the problem, it's me. Self-sabotage, competition, financial stress. So not spending as freely. Yeah. Not succeeding. So competition is an interesting one, and I thought someone would put this in there because oftentimes we think that other people are a threat. And other people aren't a threat if you're actively working on your business. And the reason I believe that is because if you are 100% focused on your client and getting to know your client better, their problems, how you can help them, improving your service, and you can do it quicker, faster, better than anyone else, no one else should be competition for you. When you end up with competition is when you get complacent. So complacency kills more businesses than any other problems. If you are complacent and you are currently in what we call like a blue ocean, which means that maybe you don't have a lot of competitors or whatever, then and get a bit lazy and you get a bit comfortable and you think no one else does what I do, then the minute someone else does start doing what you do, you are at risk. But the competition is actually not your problem. And realistically, even people in the same industry that do exactly the same thing as you are not necessarily your competition, is wherever your clients can spend their money. So if someone's got $100 today, they are going to have any choice that they like to go and buy some candles with it, go and get a massage, go to some yoga classes, go out for dinner. Your competition is wherever your ideal client is spending their money. And so your competition is not necessarily other people. Your competition is that your clients have choice. And so you focusing on what you're really good at, making it better and telling people about it is going to keep putting you in front of them to say, hey, I'm the first choice. If you want to treat yourself today or you need help with XYZ, I'm the person of choice, and keep being top of mind for that client. So the threat is not being top of mind for that client because you got in your own way, because you decided you didn't want to show up, because you couldn't be bothered making the post, because you didn't put a call to action on it, because you left it too late to advertise. They're the threats, right? So it's usually us and it's usually not other people. Amanda, letting emotions lead instead of the data, 100%, 100%. And that's hard for us, right? Because for most people in this Zoom room, we're the healers, we're the people that show up to help other people. And we've got big hearts and big missions and stuff like that. So we're in the fields a lot. But when it comes to business, we need to come out of that a little bit and look at it objectively. Otherwise, we've got our horse blinkers on and we're just focused on here and we're missing all of this opportunity out here where we're not listening to people correctly. We're missing all of their cues. We've probably got people in our DMs right now literally saying, I need help from you, that we've just missed. We've just missed those moments of conversation. Following the data and making sure that we're tracking that is 100% important. Actually, following your feelings instead of the plan, exactly, 100%. Cool. Love this. Awesome. Who learned something about themselves just now? Cool. Awesome. The reflection part is the hard part, guys. It's about to get a whole lot easier because now that we've looked back, we can move forward. Always learning. I feel like everyone else's answers are also mine. Exactly. Exactly. This is why I love group, by the way, because when I first moved from one-on-one to group, everyone's, oh, no one understands. My business is different. I'm different. Lovingly, you're not. We're humans. We all go through the same things. We just probably don't speak about it enough. And now that you're in a room with other people who 100% get it, this is exactly why group is amazing because we all go through this. It's perfectly normal and there's nothing wrong with you. You're just an entrepreneur and a woman, and this is just what life is like. So before we go to break, we're going to do a quick mindset recap. So on this next page here, I want you to reflect on current you. What habits, attitudes, behaviors, or even beliefs are currently not supporting your goals and growth? So I just want you to put something down for all of these. So what habits have you got that are maybe habits that are really not serving you, whether that's you are not prioritizing your sleep, you're not getting physical exercise in, maybe your food is not the best for, and this is not a hang shit on yourself session. I want to be very clear. This is not a just be nasty to yourself. This is just objectively, if we look at the data, okay, what is in my life at the moment that's not actually serving me? Maybe it's language. Maybe there is like something that you tell yourself every day that is actually holding you back. And whether that is I'm not capable or I'm not worthy or whatever, put all of this down. This is for you to get really honest with yourself. Are there any behaviors or attitudes that are maybe a bit negative? Maybe it's discipline. Maybe you're not focused. Maybe you don't have a routine, which, by the way, routine doesn't have to be rigid. It gets to be whatever the heck you want. But for me, I know that, for example, if I don't do my morning routine, which this week has been sacrificed a couple of times, it impacts me like royally. And I don't feel like myself. I don't have the energy. So it's really important to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for success here. So this number one is just all about what isn't working, what habits, attitudes, behaviors, beliefs are not currently serving you. When you've got that, feel free to share your biggest one in the chat, and then we'll move to number two. Drop me just one of your comments in the chat, and then we'll move forward. Beliefs, service businesses are a hard way to make money. Oof. I should be focusing on being a mum, not filling my schedule again with building a business. Okay, cool. These are some strong, deep-seated beliefs, right? And you can probably see how this is holding you back because if you feel that way, then of course you're not going to want to go your version of all in because you're going to be thinking, hang on a minute, I'm going to lose my life here. I'm going to lose my family here. Things are going to be sacrificed. And sure, we make sacrifices, but the flip side of that is if we plan really well, if we stick to the plan, if we ask for help, if we take risks, if we take action all in the right way, then we can prove those beliefs wrong. Katana, not really connecting with this bit. So sometimes negative attitude. I need to think on it a bit more. Yeah, totally fine. Totally fine. So it might just be like any sort of belief around what it takes to grow your business or any habits in your life that, at the moment are just maybe not helpful for you, or some practice, some self practices that maybe you've let go of. You guys might have seen it on my social media this week where I publicly admitted that I fell out of love with my yoga practice and it's impacted me. And I didn't realize it at the time, but on reflection, it's something that I'm like, okay, cool. Actually, if I get back into my own yoga practice a bit more regularly, then it will considerably change how I show up. Lisa, habits, not having a routine, behaviors, poor boundaries. Yep, Laura, staying motivated is your own responsibility, and that's stressful. Katana, overworking, not having boundaries. Yep, overworking is a big one. It's one of the fastest ways to sabotage ourselves is when we get tired. Pradea, saying something is overwhelming instead of doing it. Okay, yep, cool, love that. Ashley, habits, lack of discipline, language as well, not being proud, only being grateful. Love that catch. Belief that I only have what I do because of my husband who has financially supported you. Oof, that's a strong one as well, right? Crystal, working on the business and not treating it like a business, but habits, eating properly, forgetting to eat. Yep, 100%. Unsupportive, that you're dragging others down. I'm assuming this is a belief for you, Amanda, from what we've chatted about. I'm dragging others down by results by not being where I want them to be. Supportive, I am worthy and capable. Okay, cool, awesome. So number two is the flip side of this. I want you guys to think, and this might be hard right now because we haven't done your plan yet, but in 12 months' time, what would you like the opposite of this to be for you? How would you like yourself to be showing up in 12 months' time? What is the person, the identity that you need to adopt now? As in, imagine you've achieved all of your goals for the next 12 months. What kind of habits does that person have? What kind of behaviors do they display? What kind of language do they use? And what kind of beliefs does this person have? So, thinking about like your version of successful, what are the changes in your own habits, behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs that would actually help you and support you to hit your next level? For example, if one of your bad habits is you don't get enough sleep, maybe your new habit is, as the best version CEO of you ever, is that you have strong boundaries around your night routine and getting to bed at a reasonable hour, making sure that you prioritize your sleep and not compromising on that. Maybe your habits are, you know what, actually, I could probably clean up some of my eating and make sure that I'm eating 80% whole foods, healthy foods, and then I won't feel sluggish and then I will have more energy to do my work and I won't get sick throughout the year, which is lost time and money. That is probably one of the biggest wastes of money in business is downtime from being sick or being stressed. Behaviors, how you're showing up. Are you disciplined? Are you working when you say you're going to work? And again, it doesn't mean that you have to work more. It just means that you are congruent with what you say you're going to do when even when no one's looking. The language, is it positive language? Are you catching the things that you're saying about yourself before they really land? Because the more that you speak it into existence, the more your nervous system will start to believe it. And so it's really important for us to catch these things. I've had a few catches lately. I also have some great friends in my circle that help me catch the language that comes out of my mouth when I say it. And so it's really, really important to catch those things. If you're talking negatively about money, if you're talking negatively about your clients, if you're talking negatively about yourself, your physical being, or who you are, or your skills, or whatever, it'll impact how you show up. So give me something in the chat that is the opposite, and how do you actually want to show up in this next 12 months? Can be just a word, routine, timing, motivated by my success, consistent with sales, full circles, less wasted time on screens unless it's productive work, more financial freedom, engage support, communicate more with partners, stop worrying about your business and redirect positive action. Love that. Lisa, everything is figure outable. Absolutely. Love it. Yeah, doing your daily practices, using all your time wisely, just not mindless scrolling, 100%. The amount of times that I see entrepreneurs or hear entrepreneurs say, I don't have time. And then I know that for a fact, if I got you guys to check your phone right now, it would be upwards of 3 hours a day on social media is wild. You know, all the amount of time people spend on Netflix when they could be learning something. And I'm sure you need some downtime and you've got to balance it. But there's a lot of just like mind-numbing stuff that just happens. Language, that you can hold more capacity, beliefs, doing the things that feel overwhelming, knowing that's just where your biggest success is. Yeah, absolutely. And that it's not necessarily hard, it's just different or new. Actually, I have earned and deserved my success 100%. 100%. Katana, good boundaries, time, clearly defined work hours, love it. Strengthening relationships, beautiful. Nervous system regulation, being presence, boss CEO, capital letters, love it. Supportive language, beliefs that I can do this, love it. Guys, this is awesome. When you write this, I don't know about you, and maybe you can tell me, give me a yes in the chat if this is true for you, but when you write this energy that you want to be in, who just got a little bit more excited? Love it. Eating nutritionally, awesome. Working out, yes. Because the minute that you go, oh my gosh, like I'm going to show up, I'm going to be this is what you need to make visual somewhere else as well. So whether you print this worksheet out, highlight this part, snip it, whatever you do, make it your screensaver, whatever the thing is. But when you're feeling like you're having like those shit weeks, because we have them, we have the weeks where we miss our sales, we have the weeks where we didn't sign the client, all of that sort of thing, right? Come back to this. Come back to, no, this is the energy that I'm in. This is the person that I am becoming, and show up as that person now. Maybe it's some days you feel like, oh, I've just accepted, I'm just like showing up like a hot mess. Like it always feels good when you just wash and blow dry your hair and put a little bit of lip gloss on, and it's cool, I can conquer the world again. Sometimes it's just, you don't have to be extra fancy about things, but you just have to show up with the attitude that everything is winner's attitude and not lack attitude, because lack attracts lack, and you will only find the negative if that's what you stay focused on. Okay, we're going to move quickly on to this last little bit here, and that is, what does my support network look like, or need to help, or what do I need to help me get there? I've just got 3 dot points here, and that is, I need to spend less time with insert person. I need to spend more time with insert people that always lift you up, that always give as much as they get, that actually can help you move forward. And then the last one is, I need to ask for more help from XYZ. It might be partner, it might be family, it might be a coach, it might be me, it might be a good friend. Who do you need to spend less time with, more time with, and get more help from? Or ask to be a mentor or something like that. Big one. Get help from husband. Yeah. And this is the thing, is we sometimes expect people in our lives to just do the thing. They're not mind readers. They're not mind readers. They don't know that we want help or how we want help for them. They might think they're helping, but it's just not in the way that we need it. So we just need to be very clear on what we need, because they're not mind readers. This can even just be down to family and friends. Often have conversations with mum and say, you telling me this is not helpful. Please don't tell me this. Please don't ring me about this. Please don't ask me questions about this, because it's not helpful. What would be really helpful is you just say, well done, congratulations, I see you working hard. That would be really helpful. And just so you know, like everyone gets this. Like I literally had my mum this week ring and say, I don't understand one of your posts. And I was like, cool, it's because you're not a yoga teacher and you're not my ideal audience. So please get off my Instagram and don't ring me about it. But this stuff happens, right? Okay, cool. So once you've got that, again, feel free to share in the chat and we're going to move on. The vision and goals. So reflecting on what has worked and what was your best offer, your best marketing strategy, your best conversion method. Maybe just write a couple of extra dot points under this vision and goals part about what you could double down on in 2026 to make it even better. Okay, I'm not sure if it's my internet. I think my internet is still connected because I'm seeing everyone still move. So it might be yours, Ashley. We're going to take a break in a minute anyway, but just a couple of dot points below this last little question there. What could you actually double down on that was really good, that worked really well this year, that you could absolutely just turn the tap on in this coming year? And then we're going to use this to propel us forward in our next plan. Daniela, loving the reflection about the mom reading your stuff. Yeah. The conversations I've had with my mother in the last 5 years, and bless her, she means well. So we were in the same career together in our previous career. And so we talk shop a lot. She loves business as well, but she does not get this online space. She has absolutely no understanding of what I do now. And so I need to tell her and remind her that it is unhelpful for her to give me coaching on my business, especially on my posts that are not for her. If I could get my mother on a yoga mat, it'd be freaking amazing. Lisa, I need to find these people who lift me up again. Yes. If you don't have these people in your circle, by the way, get to some networking events, join some groups. Obviously, if you're not in Solis, join the Solis. It's a vibe. So many people in here catch up outside of it as well, which is really nice. Yeah. And Brooke, I've just got Be Me. Yep. Love that. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break. So we're going to have a 5 minute break. It is currently 17 minutes past. As an absolute worst case scenario, if we can be back on, so grab yourself a cuppa, a wee break, a water, whatever you actually need. And we're going to be back on at absolute worst case scenario, 25 minutes past 9. And then we're going to smash out our roadmap. Give me a yes or a heck yes in the chat if you are excited for your roadmap. And I would love to hear if anything else has resonated with you thus far. Please let me know. No worries, Brooke, no problems. I will send you the second half, so that is all good. We are going to take a quick break. I'm just going to put myself on mute for a minute, and yeah, we'll see you back in 5 minutes, guys. Alrighty, we are back. Hopefully everyone has had a little minute to refresh. We have a lot to get through, so we are going to move pretty quickly as well. And there'll be a couple of different worksheets that I'm going to guide you through. But before we get started, please tell me so far, what is your biggest takeaway so far? I would love to know what is your biggest takeaway so far. Just drop that in the chat for me. If you're just coming back, I'm super pumped for this next part. This is my favorite thing to do is future-proof ourselves and our business, feeling progress and supported, reflecting on the past year and feeling really proud has filled me with warm, fuzzy love. That's so beautiful. Amazing, amazing. Awesome. Okay, we are going to get stuck in. So I am going to share my screen again. Alrighty, let me know. Can you see my screen? Hopefully everyone can see the screen. Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. If you are just coming back, pop in the chat for me your biggest takeaway so far before we move on. That would be amazing. Some huge epiphanies, beliefs that are still alive that you thought you'd work through. Yes, those pesky little buggers, they hold us back in the worst possible way. But the good news is that you are now aware of them and awareness precedes change. I love that for you. Lisa, I'm still cock blocking my own success. Yeah, you are not the only one. So that is all good. Okay, cool. So we have covered wins and highlights. We've done a bit of a post-mortem on what has worked and what hasn't worked. What we have royally stuffed up this year, which is also called wisdom. So we love that for us. Again, a good reminder that if you haven't failed, then you probably haven't taken enough action. So just going to leave that one there for you. SWOT analysis, we've worked out what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your growth opportunities, and what are your threats, which is usually self-sabotage and us. Ashley, clarity over your beliefs and what's holding you back. Awesome. Love this. Things that you need to work on and make happen to grow in your business. Love that, Crystal. Awesome. Okay, let me just shoot through these next couple of slides. We can get this to work. We've been covered our identity. Who do you need to be to reach your goals in 2026? And I just want to also double down on that as well, that you get to show up as that person now. Don't wait. Show up as that person now. It is one of the things that has got me success this year is embodying who I wanted to be before I was even ready to be that person. And I can't even tell you how many rooms I've walked into this year where people have said to me, "Oh my gosh, like you just seem like a different person." And they don't know what it is, right? They don't know what I've done differently or whatever. And most people think it's like my skin because I had such problems with my skin, which yes, that's helped. Obviously, healing that has helped and has helped my confidence and things like that. But it was a decision. And it wasn't necessarily anything else other than a decision. I decided that I was going to take up Pilates on the 27th of December last year and that I was going to keep showing up and that the person that I am now, not becoming, that I am now, doesn't make excuses. And because I was making excuses in my personal life for things, I was making excuses in my business. And this whole year, I have just called myself out on my own BS and on my excuses, and I have showed up as best as I possibly can. And I can tell you that it hasn't necessarily taken more work. It is just being more intentional about how I live my life, which I already thought was intentional, but there's a whole nother level, right? So there's always these like slight little pieces that we're holding back on. And so I think if you could use anything else, reflection in your life on what you're holding back on somewhere in your life, this will be showing up in your business as well, exactly the same. So we've covered that. We've covered what your network needs to look like. So do whatever you need to do to get a support crew around you. There are so many people out there that want to support you. We've taken a break. Okay, well, we're up to our vision and goals. And this is one of my favorite quotes, which is, what if I don't reach my goals? But oh, darling, what if you actually do? And maybe that is the scary part as well. Shit, what if I actually do achieve this? But also, how exciting to know that you can, and how amazing would that be? The amount of lives that you can change through what you do, how it will actually change your life, your partner's life, your kids' life, your family life. Like everything gets to change if you reach your goals or when you reach your goals. We're going to get stuck into it. We're going to have a little bit of a think now, and maybe if you've got a notepad in front of you or you want to add it to the bottom of the last worksheet, then I would just want you to have a think for a minute around what is the actual vision? What is the real vision? What do you want? And there's no wrong answers here. Do you want to grow a team and scale your business? Do you want to maybe leave a legacy for your children? Do you want to build a business that you can sell? Do you have an impact goal? Do you want to reach hundreds of thousands of people? Do you want to be in brackets hashtag famous? Do you want the red Ferrari? Do you want a private jet? Do you want X amount of cash in the bank? Do you want to buy a house? What do you actually want? Because sometimes what we do is we set ourselves goals based on how we were raised and what society tells us is successful versus what we actually really want if we really look at it, what makes us happy. And so I just want you to get really clear for a minute on what is the actual vision here for both your life and for your business. If you already know that, pop it in the chat for me. I would love to hear it. And we're going to work through that now. And you might not have the answer now. So it's perfectly fine. If nothing is coming up for you right now, just make a note to maybe sit in a meditation. I know all of you have your own version of meditation, but sit in meditation or go to your happy place. Mine is the beach. Just go and sit somewhere that is your happy place and give yourself some space around this. This should be an abundant thing. This shouldn't feel rigid to do. This should be an exciting thing to tap into. And if it doesn't feel exciting, how can you make this and dreaming bigger exciting for yourself? Because we are only capped by how big we are prepared to vision and set ourselves these goals. So whatever the goal is for you, there's no wrong answers here, but I want you to stretch that beyond. So just having a think about that. If you've got that goal, feel free to share in the chat and we're going to move forward. So reflecting on what worked, like I said, what was your best offer, your best marketing strategy, what was your best conversion method? We've talked about what you need to double down on, and we're going to go into that now as a part of this goal setting plan. It's really important to acknowledge what is actually making us money, what is actually building our reputation, building our brand, and making sure that we actually use that as our unfair advantage, I call it, going into 2026. A few of you have probably heard me say this before, but in business, we're usually in three main stages, but there's also an extra one in the middle here, launch. We're usually in create, build, launch, or scale mode. And there's one more, that's if you're selling. But we're not going to include that now because I don't think anyone in here is selling their business just now. But we are always in one of these phases. And in fact, sometimes we do the create, then we build it, and then something doesn't work or the launch doesn't go to plan and we go back to the beginning. None of it means that we have failed. It just means that it's a part of it. And so the minute we can recognize which phase of this journey in business that we are in and accept that we're in that phase and stop comparing to everyone else around us and just do the things that it takes to get to the next phase, it helps us propel so much quicker forward because we're not stuck in this mindset of, oh, I should be at scale when you literally haven't built your offer yet. Or, oh my gosh, I should be at build when I haven't created the offer yet. Or I should be launching when I haven't actually built the thing to sell. So it's really important for you to know which stage of business that you're at and accept that this isn't always just forward. We sometimes have got to come back, regroup, refocus, fine tune, and then go again. And this cycle is forever, just so you know. You will never come out of this unless you either close your business or sell it. That's the only way to get out of this cycle. So I would love for you to tell me now, where do you think, excuse me, where do you think you are in this path, in this ship's journey? Where do you think you're at? Create, build, create, create and build, create. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Moving into launch. Love it. Awesome. Is it helpful to recognize where you're actually at? Because we all want to be at scale, right? We all want to be at scale, making more money, serving more people, doing all the things. But the reality of it is there's a process. And if you skip steps in this process, you will get to the scale part and you will burn yourself out because you do not have the infrastructure to back you. And that also means scaling an offer that isn't ready or that isn't right will attract the wrong clients, which will burn you out. It might mean that that would be if you are scaling an offer that also isn't working, that not only do you attract the wrong clients, but it might not sell at all. And so we always need to be very focused on, okay, I'm in this phase right now, and I need to accept where I am in this phase right now and do everything I can to make this focused, intentional, and clear so that I can move through to the next phase. And that looks different all the time. So I've been through all of these phases this year, Hridaya? Great question. So at the start of this year, I had my offer, but I completely rebranded. And so it was almost like beginning again, because as I mentioned before, I focused so much on the actual rebranding itself that I stopped selling. So I could have stayed in the scale phase and been in the create phase because people were creating for me. But what I did was is I stopped focusing on sales and list building and my audience and nurturing and all of those sorts of things to go all in on the create and essentially drop the ball there. So then I went through the create, then I went through the build, and then I've gone now through the launch and the scale part, all one straight after the other. Launched my workshop, followed by some bigger months in business, which is great because the plan worked, right? But we're always in that. And in the new year, I will go back through this cycle again. I will be upgrading my program, re-recording literally almost every single course inside of Soulful CEO is getting a massive update in the new year. I've learned lots around running the accelerator program that I recently did and how that needs to look for people in the new year and how I can actually help you guys get better results inside the program. So the program is actually getting a huge update in the new year. So I will be going back through the create because I will have to create the course modules again from scratch. I will have to build it in the back end. I will have to launch it once I've got that ready to go. I will tell more people about it and then I will scale it, which means once that's ready to go, then I can just double down on getting people inside the program and helping more people. So we're constantly always going through these things. And now that I have got a team as well, they can also go through different stages that I don't have to be responsible for. So for example, the build phase, there's part my ownership that I have to be the person that records and creates the content, but they can actually do the system side of it. So we all go through these stages constantly. It doesn't end. And so the minute we can accept that this isn't going to end and that it is a marathon and not a race, and knowing and owning, like really owning the phase that you're in, nailing it, and then moving forward, it just feels so much easier, or at least for me, it feels so much easier for me to go, okay, I'm not worried about where anyone else is at. In fact, this year I could have gone on a business retreat. I chose not to go because I was in a build phase. And I was like, I can't go now. That's not my time. I will go to one in the new year when it's my time, when I've got the space for it. But at the moment, I'm in a build phase and need to double down on what I'm doing. And so I hope that answers your question or at least helps. But yes, they all meshed together and they flow very quickly. They can flow very quickly together. It doesn't have to take a long amount of time, but oftentimes people get disappointed where they are making sales and then what happens is they push themselves to a certain point and then something in the business breaks. Either you can't deliver as much because you've become fully booked. And so there needs to be change. We have to go back to the drawing board and do things differently. You're not starting again. What people think is that they come up the hill and then when they go down a little bit, in your mind, you're coming all the way back down here, but you're not. It's just a slight little dip. Then you have to rebuild and come back up, and you usually come back up higher up than you ever were before. So just knowing where you are in your journey is super important. I'm just going to give you guys another link here. Let me see if this copy works this time. We might do it from this side. Bear with me, guys. All right, I'm just going to drop you a new worksheet link in the chat. Please make a copy and open that straight up. I'm going to be on the first tab, which is called Yearly Goals. Can everyone still see my screen? Yep, hopefully everyone can still see my screen. Amazing. I'm going to move you guys up my screen. All right, give me a yes in the chat once you've got your sheet open. Amazing, amazing, awesome. Okay, so this is my yearly goals planner. Again, feel free to change the dates. You can do calendar year, you can do whatever you like here. There is a lot in here. So obviously today we're only going to get to go through so much of it. We've got about 20 minutes left, but I'm just going to talk you through how this first page works and then we'll go through the subsequent pages. Hopefully everyone has got that. Just let me know if someone is having any troubles there, but you're just clicking the link and opening, making a copy of this sheet. Awesome. So on the side here, on the left-hand side, I've got types of goals because I think a lot of people think that there is only one type of goal or only financial goal or whatnot. But there are so many different types of goals you can have. You can have an income goal. You can have a team goal. You can have foundations goals. You can have impact goals. awareness goals by awareness, audience size, raising awareness of your business, like a brand awareness goal. You can have finances goals, which is different from income goals, a legacy goal, the message that you're leaving behind, or the type of business that you're building to maybe pass on in the family. Health goals, wealth goals, relationship goals, spirituality goals, net worth goals, community goals, collaboration goals, friendship goals, travel and activities goals. There are so many different types of goals you guys can have. And so I don't want you guys to limit yourselves to just having a business goal or just having a life goal. I want you to think about what type of goals are actually really important to you. So I would love you to have just a little bit of an eyeball over that list of types of goals now. And maybe for you, you just click in the one that is really important for you for the next 12 months, and then you just highlight it by going to click the little highlighter icon just up here, which is this little fill color box. You can fill that in. So if there's something that jumps out to you immediately and you're like, you know what, yeah, this year I want to focus on my relationships or my health or my wealth, I would love to have you highlight that. And feel free to highlight as many as you think is relevant for you. Then once you've had a bit of a look at that, give me your top three in the chat. What are the top three? And this, we're talking high level here. We haven't got down into the nitty gritty of if you've got a financial goal or an income goal. We haven't got down into the nitty gritty yet of how much that is or how you're going to get there. Don't worry about that just now. I just want you to think about what are the three things that stand out for you in the types of goals here. Again, there's no wrong answers. Everyone's going to have different focuses, different goals, different dreams. Community, family, impact. Love it. Income, brand awareness, and health. You're not locked into this, guys. You can change these at any time. Like I said, you can have more than three, but just drop your top three in the chat for me. These usually will naturally align with your values. Income, foundational, and health. Love that. Brand, impact, wealth. Love it. Keep popping those in the chat for me. I just want to bring your awareness to one thing. If you don't have some form of financial wealth or income goal in there, I'd love you to sit with this and think about why or why not. And one of the values exercise that I love doing is listing out the values. And what happens a lot for business owners specifically is that they will not have any form of financial value in their top 10. And when we don't have that somewhere near the top, it means that we are so far removed from that, it's really hard to attract that in. So if we want more abundance in our wealth, finances, income, revenue, sales, all of the things, if we don't have money as a goal in our top 3 to 5, I'm going to be probably like a little bit concerned that there is a disconnect in the relationship that you have with money. And so I just want to preface this. Obviously, we don't have real much time today to dive deep into it. But if anyone ever wants to dive into this with me, I'm happy to talk to you one-on-one about this. But if money didn't come up for you, I would love you at some stage to reflect on why that didn't come up for you, because it's really hard to make money if it's not even in your conscious awareness. So just a little side note there for some people as well. But there's looking like some great, beautiful goals here. And sometimes something like an impact goal can actually be a financial goal as well, or the actions of an impact goal, financials. That's also cool too. But I just want to bring that to your awareness. It's also a really nice exercise to do. So what we've got here on this spreadsheet is the first column I just got business goals, then wealth and lifestyle goals, and then health goals. And then as you scroll across to the side, you'll see there's also relationship goals. Now, if you guys need to, you can literally click and drag on this, copy and paste it over into another column, and you can start adding extra goals in here as well. So you can feel free to edit this however you need to and make it yours. Your three things that you chose, you may want to put in here. So you can just swap out your subjects at the top here and just make them whatever you feel is your focus points for now. But what I want you to do now is we're going to double down on your business ones. So whatever your business most related business goal was, whether that was income, financial, impact, whatever, I just want you to put that in here, or you can leave the subject business goals. And then I want you to distill this down a little bit more. So we have our super high level, our what I'm going to call macro goal, which is our business goal here. And then I want you to put three smaller goals in here that relate to this big goal. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know in the chat if it doesn't. But you're going to have your big mission goal, and then you're going to have three goals. And I've just got an example in here. It might be make like 100K in revenue, help 100 people, like insert any other thing. I've just like literally put in random stuff. When you've got those first three in your business goals, give me a done in the chat. Again, this is like rapid fire. Your subconscious knows already to go with what is coming quickly to your mind. If you want to share what they are, you can literally just copy and paste them into the chat. It's always, again, awesome to see everyone else's goals as well. Helps us think outside the box. But remember, this is not about comparison. This is just staying in your own lane. What is your goals? And I want you to think about this as well. If you've got some form of financial goal in here, I know I've had a couple of conversations with some people recently around revenue, and people go, oh, I just want an extra $1,000 a month. But for an extra $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, or whatever, we know that over time it's inevitable that you'll succeed, right? It just might take you a lot longer. But think bigger than that. Maybe you think about your sales revenue goal and you know what, you know that you'll hit that. It might take some effort, but you know that that's a given. I'm actually just going to make that. But what would be a stretch for you? What would be like something you'd be like, oh my God, imagine if I made that would be amazing. Or imagine if I did that would be so next level. Think about it like as in a fun challenge. So once you've got those top three, give me a done in the chat or share them in there as well. And then we're going to move forward. Done, done. Awesome, awesome. Hopefully I've got a few more dones here. All good. No worries, Crystal. Cool, cool. All crossing over. Yeah, no, it's totally okay if they're all crossing over. If they all pertain to the business goal, that is cool. We're going to make them super specific in a minute. So these goals, they should have some form of metric in them and they should be trackable. For example, make $100,000 in revenue, again, just as a random number. No one has to have this as a goal, but it's just a random number, right? But it's measurable. I'm either going to hit this number or I'm not going to hit this number because it's clear. What would make this even more clear is like in a time frame, I could say in the next 12 months. Number two, help 100 SEC members hit 10K months. Super specific. It means I need 100 people or I need to impact 100 people and I have a metric of what I want to help them with. This one at the bottom, number three, build a reliable and highly skilled team. Not what we would call a SMART goal. This goal is not measurable. So what I would need to do is put some kind of metrics on that, which might just be that I can train my team to take over XYZ job from me and not need to check it. That's measurable. Because if, for example, they didn't do that, then it's measurable and I'm getting data. So just thinking about, have you actually got some measurements on here in these? If you haven't, you can come back to this. Again, you're not going to solve all of this or fill this all in right now, but this is just getting the bones of it out there. So making these measurable and trackable. Then what you're going to do is you're literally just going to take, so number one, you're going to click on it, you're going to click copy, and then you're just going to paste it in here. So you're going to paste it in here. That's your first goal. Maybe you want to make it bold. You can do that too. And then underneath that, you're going to put all the action steps that you need to take to hit 100K or whatever your thing was, right? For in this instance, it might be you might need help to understand your financials. So you might need to have an appointment with your financial advisor or your tax accountant or your business coach or something like that to better understand your numbers. Because if you don't understand your numbers, you can't change them. And then you might need to start tracking your KPIs weekly. And then you might need to start focusing on opening DM conversations with people to get more leads. And then you might have a goal to get 10 leads a week on a call or close 50% of your sales calls. So you're seeing how it's starting to like actually get very specific. It's got nothing to do with how I feel and everything to do with specific measurable actions. So I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes here just to, even if you just do the first one for now, just pick one of these and just put it in here as the first goal and then just distill down what are the first steps that you need to take. Again, you don't have to be thinking like in 12 months' time, I need to be taking this step. It's if I was going to start working towards my $100,000 revenue goal tomorrow, what is the first thing I need to do in order to get there? And in this example, the first thing might need to be assess the numbers that I've currently got and understand them. Hopefully that makes sense. If that makes sense, just give me like a yes or a Y in the chat. I'm just going to give you like a couple of minutes here just to pop your goal number one in there. No worries if you need to leave right on 10, that's also all good. You'll get the recording and can come back to it. So hopefully everyone's got some cool little actions here. If you are done, either pop me a done in the chat, or if you want to give me your goal and cut and paste your goal and your first couple of actions, that would be amazing. Hopefully everyone's got some ideas popping up. Again, you're not married to this. We can change this. We can alter this. We can make more time for this. I highly recommend like carving out a day to finish this whole thing, going back through it, really getting really clear on it, probably printing it out on some big A3 papers for you. Katana, make 10K months consistently. So your actions are marketing, track the data, hire help within the business, help with marketing, hire RMT, run events and retreats, consistent support coach. Amazing. The only thing, Katana, I would love you to just go back through these actions and just pop on there some metrics for me. So marketing, specifically what marketing and how often, that would be helpful for you because then you can track it and see if that's working for you. Hiring help within the business. That makes sense. Makes sense. Run events and retreats. So when you say run events and retreats, like how many events do you want to run? And then because then we can actually put that into the next page as well. But this is looking great. Love this. So as specific as we can, because otherwise we get to the end of the year and we go, did I make it or did I not make it? Awesome, awesome, guys. All right, so just give me a done in the chat when you've got a couple of things down for this first goal. And we are getting a little bit pushed for time. So I'm going to walk you through the next section in just a moment, but I just wanted to make sure that we've got the way this first page works so that you guys can continue this on your own. And then obviously I can offer you after support as well. So give me a done in the chat when you are ready to rock. I'm going to move over to the next page. Alrighty, so on the next page, you've got quarterly goals. So I've just broken up the year again into different quarters. So from your first yearly goals page, once you have filled this out across all the categories that you want to focus on for the next 12 months, you're going to have a whole heap of like action steps and micro goals. So you're going to have your macro goal and then you're going to have your micro goal. Then what you can do is you can actually come into here that has got all the months in here and you can work out when do you need to do what. So you can't, like I said, with the journey of the business, you are either in create, build, launch, or scale mode. And so you're not going to be able to do all of it all at once if you're in a particular phase. So you're going to then need to get this calendar over the year and go, okay, cool. What is the first thing I'm going to need to do and where do I need to put that? And actually break it down month by month so that in that month you know what you're doing. So I already know because I've done this. I know that for me, December is nurturing and helping people that aren't in my orbit yet. One, find me, and two, connect with me. I'm going to give out some extra freebies for the rest of the month, all of that sort of stuff. So I already know that. In January will be a grow month for me. So that'll be like a bit of a scale month. That'll be probably where I make for my next quarter most of my money because of the type of business that I run. Most people that are starting in the new year in business, that is a time where they are actively looking for a mentor and to do things differently. And then in February, I'm going to go back to list building. And in the back end of my business, I'll be in the create phase, making my program better. Then I'll have my team build it. And then by March, we'll go back to the scale phase once that's complete. So you're going to go and work through that from your goals page, your yearly goals page, and you're going to distill it down into your monthly calendar in here. Now, this is going to take time. This is going to take some brain space. So please don't use the O word, which is overwhelm, and go, oh my God, this sounds too hard. It's actually not. It's just going, okay, cool. What is the most logical way for me to implement this so that every single month you have a core focus and that you stay on track to achieving your goals? Now, this is high level in that this is, welcome, Laura, have a great day, in that your day to day tasks and the nitty-gritty stuff that you need to do in your business just has to happen like brushing your teeth. So that, we shouldn't have on our to-do list like every single week, or your number one goal for the week is just make content. That should just be a given now. We're in business. We know that every single week we have to do that. So we need a repeatable system to do that. If you're not yet there yet, that's okay. You might still be in the create phase, and that's totally fine. But you want to try and get those kind of habits and routines down packed now for just the daily stuff that's buying bread and milk, that you really want to have those things just ticking over. But this is the high level stuff. This is the impact stuff that's actually going to change and move you forward. Just getting your content done is not going to be enough to get a different outcome from this year. That'll keep you consistent. What will get you to the next level is these things, these big growth things. Take your time with this. It will take you time to do it. And obviously, I'm going to be here to help you do that as well. But I'm just going to talk you through these next couple of spreadsheets so that you've got them. And then I'll open up for questions after that as well, because we are pushed for time. I'm mindful of that. The next sheet along the bottom is weekly goals. So then you can actually break this down into a month. So for example, this might be January. So you can literally come up here and change this to January if you like. And then you're just going to map out your 4 weeks of actions for January. And then you're going to know exactly what you're focusing on. In week 1, I'm going to be doing this. And that might be getting your content done for the whole of January. It might be nailing your offer. It might be creating a freebie or whatever. And then moving on to week 2, or week 1 might just be content. Week 2 might be creating the freebie. Week 3 might be building a system around it. So no worries, Ashley. Have a great day. Thanks for joining. So you're really just going to, again, distill this down even more. So you can see that we've had this big thing at the top, and we're going to chunk it down and make it super step-by-step easy to hitting your goal. So that is your weekly planner. The one that I really want you guys to have a look at, and a few of you that are new to Soulful CEO, we've just been over this on your one-on-one calls, is this. Now, this is your sales forecast. Just so you know, this is not financial advice. This is a sales forecast. How it works: all of the yellow cells you can type directly into, all of the white cells for pre-populated formulas, and it will add everything up automatically for you. So for example, in here, in this first top space, you're going to put your offer and the price that it is. So maybe it's massage, and maybe it's $150 a session. And then you're going to put how many sales or serves of that you're going to sell that month. And you're going to map that out across the whole year. So for example, in here, September looks busy for whoever's doing massage. It's just going to add it up. At the end, it's going to add it up, and it's going to tell you that for massage alone, you're going to make $6,900 across 46 bookings for the year. And then you're going to go through, and any other offers that you've got, you're just going to put them in these cells as well. So maybe you sell a retreat, maybe you sell one in August, maybe you sell 6 people in September because you have an early bird offer, maybe you sell your last 4 spots in October, and then let's delete these ones. And then it's going to be like, okay, cool, we're going to make 33 grand out of retreat revenue here. And as you will see, it's adding up all of your services across the whole year and giving you a total at the bottom. Now, what normally happens is people fill this in and they go, shit, I'm not going to hit the income target that I first planned. And that is okay. What that means is we need to go back to the drawing board and look at what are our offers, what are our pricing, what are our opportunities to increase number of units sold or number of clients that you're serving. How can we cause the data to change? The good news is if this data isn't what you want it to be now, you've got time to fix it. We've got time to fix your offer, find extra ways to make money, find ways to tweak your offer so that your pricing changes, or insert other thing. Or maybe you go, okay, cool, I've got a gap here of what I want to earn. Maybe I'm actually going to need to go and work 2 days a week somewhere or whatever, just to support until you get yourself into the scale phase. But it's at least then not going to be a surprise, and we can actually do something about it. So again, you're only filling in the yellow cells with your offer name, the price of your offer, and then on average, you're just going to give a guesstimate of how many you think that you're going to sell in that month. Now, if you've been in business a little bit longer, you might already have the data on this from last year of what you made last year, in which case you might go back and you might look at your data from last year and go, cool, I had 10 customers in December last year. this year I want to double that. And so you're setting yourself a target, or this year I want to increase it by 10%, and you're going to forecast it out that way. So if you've got data already, use that as a guide, because you should at minimum be beating your targets from last year. So hopefully this is making a little bit of sense. Please pop in the chat for me. Is this sheet making sense? Hopefully it makes you dollars, but awesome. Has anyone ever forecast out a whole year of sales like this before? Never? No? Yeah, okay. Couple of nods. Yeah, cool. Awesome. So again, this is something that you can change throughout the year. And again, throughout the year, you might change your offer. And then you can come back to this sheet and change the data and go, okay, cool. Is this actually going to get the outcome that I want? This is also a great sheet for if you do have data from the last 12 months or even the last 3 months or whatever, you can come in, put all of your offers in, see how many customers you've served, see how much the price is of it, and work out what one of your offers is making you the most money. And that is also one of the things that I did is I doubled down on the offer that was making me the most money. I went all in on it. And not even just the most revenue, but the most profit. I worked out which one of my offers was making me the most profit, and then put all of my energy into that one thing. And I binned all the little offers that weren't making me as much money until I nailed the one thing. And so that's really important to do too, is to look at what is actually making you the most money, that is the least amount of effort, and go all in on that. And then once you've got that absolutely styling, then you can add in other stuff. But what we do is we sabotage ourselves because we think that 10 offers is actually going to make more money. It's not. It confuses the absolute crap out of your customers, and it's harder for you to deliver on, because then it's 10 marketing plans, 10 launches, 10 extra types of posts that you have to have, 10 landing pages, 10 sales pages, 10 different Facebook ad funnels. It just is a nightmare. So if you can work out what is making you the most money right now and go all in on that thing and push that one thing even more until you get to a certain point where you're like, cool, I've absolutely maxed that out. Now I can add in another income stream. I would 100% recommend that. It's what has absolutely worked for me and works for most of my clients as well. So that is the financial sheet. If for some reason you delete something and you delete a code out of it, drop me a message and I'll fix it for you. Some of the cells are locked and you won't be able to edit them anyway, but if you just stick to the yellow lines, then you should be all good. If you're a wizard with spreadsheets, then you're going to be fine as well. Just quickly, this last page is a to-do list. This is just a nice master list to have. Literally, when you tick it, is easy to track. It's going to cross it off your to-do list. So from your yearly, quarterly, and weekly goals, you can just create yourself a master list, or maybe this list is all the things you're going to outsource from those goals sheets. You can put them in here and then give this to your VA to do. You'll see here, actually, there is a little square here. If you have your sheet shared to your virtual assistant, if you have a virtual assistant, you can actually click at, it's not going to work for me. What's going on here? For example, I can type my virtual assistant's name in here, and then I can actually assign that particular task to her. Use this template wisely. It is super useful to use throughout the whole year. I would love to just open the chat now and ask you guys, do you have any questions specifically about these worksheets before I go back to my other page and we can wrap up? There is a lot here. So please, again, please just don't sit in the O word, the overwhelm word. But what I do want you to do is create space. This literally could take you a whole day if you really give it space, which I highly recommend. So definitely do that. Keep
I have a quick question just around the sales page.
Yeah, go for it.
The monthly sales forecast, is that the profit on each offering, or is that
revenue based? Yeah, this is revenue based, but you could actually just put the profit. So for example, if you knew that there was $50 profit in your massage or $100 profit in your massage, you could make it just based off of profit, and you would just change that heading to profit instead of the service price, and then you're going to know exactly how much profit you're walking away with. The only thing about that is that over time the profit can vary because of your expenses. So if you have varying expenses, that's going to be a little bit more difficult to forecast. Not impossible, but just a little bit more challenging depending on what your expenses are. If your expenses are consistent throughout the whole year, it's going to be pretty easy. But if you're running retreats, obviously you've got varying venue prices, contracts and things that come up. You might have to pay facilitators, or you might have to do 1 month, you might have to do like a higher ad spend. Those kind of variances can impact your profit. So that's why probably revenue is probably good, and then you're managing the profit through your profit and loss. But you could, if you wanted to, you could do both. You could just come down to this sales tab, right click on it, hit duplicate, and then just do a profit one as well.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
No worries. I think that Katana also had a question. Feel free to unmute there, Katana.
Yep. Thank you, Harmony. Awesome. So mine's not specifically about the sheet, but it is about other stuff that's come up during the session. Is that okay?
Cool. Absolutely.
Yeah. One thing that I struggle with is with the social media part of the creating of the social media takes up like way too much of my time. I totally get what you were saying about you don't want to outsource that because that's all of your knowledge. That's your gathered knowledge that you're trying to communicate with people. So you don't want to send somebody else to do it because they don't get it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same. I totally get that. But also, two things. One, it takes so much time. And I really love to write about something when I feel inspired to write about something, or I have a moment with a client, I think, oh, that's a beautiful thing to share, or
Yeah.
those sort of inspired moments. But with that other aspect of social media where it's like you've got to be consistent, keep showing up on the same days, keep showing up
Yeah.
in the same ways. Sometimes it can feel like it doesn't always feel like it's a genuinely inspired post because it's like I've got to be consistent, so I've got to come up with something to post. Do you know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah, absolutely. It's a
how
good,
do
it's
you
a great
manage
point.
that?
Yeah, good question. So there's a few different things. This week's probably a good example for me. This week I didn't follow the plan because my focus this week was all around getting ready for the workshop and some other things that were going on in my business. This week I made content on the fly, whereas normally I like sit down, plan it out. And part of that came from Monday. Monday I was at a conference all day, and that's normally my content writing day. I sacrificed my content writing day to attend a workshop myself. And so this week I've just been posting randomly every single day, but they've still been intentional. It's just looked different. Some days I've done reels because it was actually quicker to do a reel than it was to jump in Canva and make some tiles and things like that. Over time, it does get quicker and easier, but also consistent doesn't have to be 5 days a week. Obviously, you're going to get more eyeballs the more you post. It's just that's part's a bit of a no-brainer. But sometimes it might just be, okay, cool, this week I'm going to do 3 posts or every second day. And also having things in place where you might have a freebie or a resource or something like that that you can promote that still means that you're showing up, you're still having some form of presence online, but it doesn't have to be you and it doesn't have to be a fresh post. For example, any way that you might have other forms of content. And again, this is going to take time to have things set up, right? So I've got a few different lead magnets that I could share on my story that wouldn't require me to have a specific post or anything like that. It might be something that I've shared like 100 times before, and I'm just going to reshare it. You can repurpose your reels now. So there's literally a repost button. You can literally just go back through and find something that worked really well for you months ago and actually just reshare the exact same thing.
Oh, that's
Or
cool.
it's a really cool function. It's new.
Is
So
that just on, and that's just on Reels?
that's Instagram. Yep. On Reels, it usually requires you to add something to it. So you can literally actually click the text button, put a dot point, and then
Yeah,
minimize the dot point so that no one can see it. And that'll be enough of an edit for you to repost it. So
that's
there's lots of
cool.
like little tricks. I often will go back through the last couple of months has been pretty intense because I've been in a build phase. I've had my virtual assistant go in and find my top 12 posts for the year, which we'll also be doing in December as well, and taking the exact same caption that resonated for people and just reusing it
I
because no
love
one will
that.
know. No one will remember what I posted in February. Absolutely no
No,
one. And
that's
so just
clever.
repurposing stuff that you've already done and maybe just changing the photo that goes with it. So there's lots of different ways that you can do it. Or if you've got blogs anywhere or emails that you've written or any of those types of things like that you've come up with, you can repurpose. I know there's a few people in this group that have got podcasts. So there's show notes from their podcast. They could literally just post an episode that was even months ago and be like, hey, this year this was our most listened to podcast or our most watched YouTube, or and just repurpose it. So thinking about different ways that you could repurpose stuff that you already have. For you, Katana, like your website's great. I know I haven't got you your recording yet, but I have been through your website. But you could go to your website and just download some of your information off your website and get ChatGPT to turn it into some posts for you as well. I
I've
think,
never thought of doing that.
yeah. So
And I've
one
got
of
that resource. How crazy. It's right there.
yeah, and all of our best content is already probably posted.
Yeah,
So reuse it.
because that's the other thing too. It's like you want to be consistent in your message,
Yeah.
but you want to keep it fresh and new. So it's sometimes I get a little bit, I feel like sometimes my posts get a little bit too indirect. And I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
bring it back. What's my actual core message? What am I actually trying to convey to people? And sometimes for me, because I feel like I'm writing the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again, but that is the message.
Yeah, exactly. And for those that have been through Soulful CEO or just starting with Soulful CEO, when you do the create your iconic offer module, that one document literally alone is enough to get you content for the next quarter. Once you
Yeah.
nail your offer or once you nail your brand message, like all of this just becomes data that you've got forever. So there is also some apps out there, some AI apps now that can read all of the content off your website. And then again, you can just get that to turn it into blogs or long form emails or videos and things like that. You can get it to write you a script so that you can record a video to camera that is actually so much quicker than creating a Canva post. Videos are so easy. You guys will have seen one I did yesterday, which looks terrible. But what I did is I just took a 2-second video of the templates that you guys got shown today in a video and did a selfie to camera. I had no makeup on. I wasn't prepared for it. I just thought, you know what, this would actually be a great way to show people the type of templates they're going to get in the workshop. It took me 2 seconds to create. I didn't edit it at all. I just posted it. It's done as better than perfect. So I hope that helps. But yeah, there's lots of different ways. So feel free to let me know in Solis as well, Katana, if we need help with your content. But I think your website actually holds a lot of really great information about what you do that a lot of people don't understand, especially with spinal flow. They don't really understand what it is, but you've got some great information in there that you could be repurposing for sure.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I do
Yeah.
have another question. Is that okay? Have you got time for that?
Yeah, go for it. Probably help other people as well.
Okay, I'm probably going to muddle through this one because, all right, you were talking before about reducing the types of off or reducing the number of offers that you have. So,
Yeah.
for example, I have three main offers that I have, but within that, there's all these sort of little subset groups, right? So I have within massage, for example, there's 60-minute massage or a 90-minute massage. And
Yeah.
then you can also do an add-on with my cellular repair treatment.
Yeah.
So that then creates four just within the massage
Yeah.
category. And then
Yeah.
spinal flow, there's the initial, then there's ongoing, then there is the review, and then there's a different, it's slightly different for teenagers, slightly different for children, and slightly different for
Yeah.
babies. That's a lot of stuff in there.
100%. Just as an
But
example, sorry, go.
no, you go. It might answer my question.
So one of my clients runs, a couple of them do. There's about 3 skin clinics in the program. One of them, though, she recently, when we onboarded her, we went through her sales record on her profit and loss. And what we realized was is that she had all these time allocations for people that wanted like an eyebrow wax. Now, she was making $10 out of an eyebrow wax, but it was taking up the same time as a treatment that she could have been charging $1,000 for. And so what she did in the following month was actually just minimize. She actually stopped marketing and she actually took it off a menu for bookings, her eyebrow waxing. In fact, I think she removed most of her waxing and only offered laser treatment instead of waxing. So it's this, it solves the same problem, but she removed the low hanging fruit. She added an extra 10K to her sales in 1 month just by stop advertising her lowest hanging fruit, which is crazy. And obviously, your business model is different and your pricing is different. But just having a look at that and assessing, obviously, on your call the other day, we chatted about using GPT to pull the data from your sales database and kind of work out what is actually your best offer and how
Yeah,
could
it's
you
not
kind
letting
of,
me do it.
okay,
It's not letting me upload the information.
okay, cool.
It's
That's
saying
all
I'm,
right. We'll
it
we'll
wants me
find
to
another way.
upgrade to a paid thing. That's
Okay, cool.
why. I'm sure that's why.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll find another way to do it, even if it's manual. But I think that it will unlock some information for you that could be really helpful around maybe services that you might not need to create space for and just work out what do people actually need and then working out a pricing strategy that works and makes sense for that as well. But that I would probably have to go into a bit more detail around that post this call.
Yeah. And but when you're talking about like launching, to me
Mhm.
that to every time you talk about building and creating and launching, I'm for me that feels like you're either launching a new business or you're launching a new offer like a retreat or an event or something. But what about for businesses like I am going to start doing retreats and I am going to do events, but that's more me participating in
Yeah,
someone's event. So I'm not focusing on the event thing, but
yeah,
and the retreat, okay, fine. But I feel like those things are like an extra, yes, I can launch what's the event that's coming up. But
Yeah,
the bulk of my business is just really consistent. I'm there 5 days a
absolutely.
week. Come and book in a session,
Yeah.
find your availability, blah 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 blah.
So
It's
you might
really
not be like,
consistent.
yeah, and not everyone has to go through all of those phases, and you definitely don't have to be like, you shouldn't be going through create, build, launch, scale like in a 4 week rotation. But at some point, you're going to be in one of those phases. And so for you right now, stability is key and getting your current offers just ticking over like a well-oiled machine. So for you right now, you might actually be in the scale section. You might just happen to be at the start of it where your number one focus right now is sales. And so you're not launching anything, you're not creating anything new. You're going with what you exactly have. You're just doubling down on it and making it better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, that
So
makes
you just
sense.
because there's those phases there doesn't mean that you have to be in one that you're not actually in. That's about being present in where you are, and you
Yeah,
can stay in
okay.
that phase. Like people might stay in scale. Like usually when people get to a point where they're like, I've got my offer, I've built the thing, I've launched it, and now I'm selling it. Hopefully most people stay in scale for the longest time until maybe they get too many clients, something breaks, or the human breaks that's running it. And then we
Yeah.
go, okay, now we need to go back and fix what the problem actually is. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. That's great.
Perfect. My pleasure, no worries. If anyone else has got any last questions, otherwise we're going to pretty much wrap up here. I just have one more thing that I would like to share. Obviously, there's a couple of people in here that are not inside Soulful CEO. I do want to remind you that I'm here for you, that the templates you're going to have, obviously all of those today as well. I have one other template that I wanted to share with you today that we also didn't get to that I think will be help, and that's just around planning your daily time. So Solis, obviously you've already got that. If you're not in the Soulful CEO, again, just the Soulful CEO collective way, it's not just helping me grow my business, but I'm teaching obviously everyone inside here what actually works for me. I don't teach anything that I haven't tried, just so you know. And I don't teach anything that I know wouldn't help my clients, my ideal niche, which there's probably about 5 different business models in the group at the moment. Vanya's been smashing some goals, hitting over 20K months. She just sold out her first retreat after having a retreat that didn't work recently. Christy, like I mentioned before, she's 250% up on last year, which is also up on the previous year where she was 1,500% up. She's hit 10K months and she's now in her third month of 10K, which is absolutely awesome. Tamara just started in the program and got 5 sales in her first 6 weeks. And more than the numbers on here, guys, one of the things I just want to mention, and the reason that this slide is in here is because these 3 ladies are taking action. They're not sitting in the overwhelm. They ask me so many questions inside the group, even if they can't make a call. So I just want to encourage you that it's not about doing more. It's about getting help with things. You guys are never annoying me. Just so you know, when you guys ask me questions and some people will be like, oh, it's just me again, annoying you again. You're not annoying. Like you are paying for my services, and this is how I help people. And if I can help you get ahead because you need to ask a question, please ask me a question, because these 3 ladies, they do not let up. They post something every single week in the group, or they jump on a call and ask me for help. So please continue to do that. If you're not inside the Soulful CEO collective, now is the time. Now is the time. And I'll tell you why. We will be doing a price increase in January, and that is because the program is also about to go next level. So for those that got in, I give you a legacy rate. So when you join, you hold your rate, and if you want to keep re-signing on that rate, then you hold that legacy price. So if you join now, then you will get this legacy price. If you join in January, it will be more, and obviously there's really not much I'm going to be able to do about that. So if you're not inside Soulful CEO Collective, it's 12 months personal business consulting. Every day of the week, you get access to me. I reply to everything within 24 hours, unless it's the weekend. I do have a life. I'm really trying hard to stick with my own life boundaries as well. 3 live calls per week. You can jump on, ask questions, hot fire questions, exactly like we've just done. Access to the Solis groups, tons of templates, tools, resources, plug and play. I think we've now got 10 AI bots in there that you can use. You don't even have to create your own, all of that sort of thing. You get all of this sort of stuff for free. Any upgrades to the program you get for free as well. Any courses like the Sales Accelerator that I recently ran, you guys get all of that included for free. But for anyone that wants to join in December, because it's December and I know that December is hectic and most of you will be off in January as well. If you join in December and you are not already a Soulful CEO member, then I'm going to add 2 months to your membership, to the back end of your membership. If that is of any interest to you, then please let me know. In addition to that, I also just wanted to offer you, which I've never really done before, I wanted to offer you guys a VIP record breaker session. Now, obviously, we've been through an enormous amount today. There's a lot there in these goal planning sheets. If you want to have a one-on-one with me and go through this in micro detail, then I'm going to open up some spots for this. This link here is for non-Solis members. Solis, you have a link inside Soulful CEO in Heartbeat on the side menu. There is a link there to book a one-on-one with me. If you want to do that, it's $300 for an extra one-on-one. If you are non-Soli, it's $600. I have 3 days next week to do this. So if you want one of those spots, then now is the time to book in for one of those as well. If you're inside Soulful CEO, obviously you can ask me questions on calls, but if you did want to go through your financials on a micro level, then we can do that one-on-one as well. That is it from me, guys. I would love to hear from you. What is the number one thing that you are going to take action on after this call? And then from here, if you need anything, please reach out and let me know. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But please pop in the chat for me either your biggest takeaway or your number one action. Hridaya is like, she's in. You're becoming a Soli, Hridaya. We would love to have you. This is your tribe. I know it. I know it. I already adore your business. Obviously, we've been chatting over the last couple of months anyway, but I'm sure the girls will tell you what it's like. There's a lot of newbies in here at the moment, which is awesome. Hopefully everyone has a beautiful Friday. Thank you so much for joining me live. It makes it so much more fun than just recording a module or a video on my own, which is super boring. But thank you for being here. Lisa has got finished getting her marketing message ready to schedule and get it done. Yes, I'll drop you a message, Hridaya, about that. That'll be easy for you. And yeah, hopefully everyone has a beautiful day. If you need anything, please drop me a message. Otherwise, have a great afternoon. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Harmony.
You are so welcome.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend. Bye.
Thanks, Harmony.
Bye.